Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios and brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Molson's The Missing, available on Amazon and Paperback and ebook. We're here with a terrific gentleman who's a 40-year singer-songwriter and one-time member of the Drifters in the early 80s and did some staging shows in Atlantic City, Las Vegas, and pretty much throughout the nation. He's also a creator and producer of many 50s and 60s tribute shows, themes, and also with legendary singers as well, and also collabed with the Barenaked Ladies and the Persuasions. He's also credited with the contemporary national anthem called Stand Up America, which was introduced in schools nationwide. And of course, he also had a book called A New Guide to Mastering the Mastering the Art of Entertainment, and also he was part of Shadows of the '60s, and he's got some songs, "Shine On," "Birds and Sleeping Dogs" with Jorma Kaukonen of Jefferson, Airplane, and Hot Tuna, and One Man Woman. We'll be playing some of those after the audio interview. Live, ladies and gentlemen, at Plus Studios in beautiful downtown New York City, the amazing 40-year singer-songwriter, one-time member of the Drifters in the early 80s, and he's also got One Man Woman and more. Ladies and gentlemen, the multi-talented Dave Revels. Dave, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
I feel like getting up and dance and sing. Happy to be here, Mike. Happy to be here.
Well, it's great to have you on board, too, and I can see you dancing and singing with joy. You've been doing that for 40 years. Singer, songwriter, one-time member of the Drifters in the early 80s. You've been staging a lot of shows in Atlantic City, Las Vegas, and throughout the nation. You're a creator, producer of many 50s, 60s theme music shows, and also with legendary tributes. You collabed with the Barenaked Ladies and the Persuasions. You also are credited with the contemporary national anthem, Stand Up America. You also have a book as well, too, and you're part of Shadows of the '60s. You also have some music called Shine On, Birds and Sleeping Dogs, and also One Man Woman. And before getting all that, Dave, tell us how I first got started.
Man, like I think most people in the arts, it's a part of your soul, really, For me, as a youngster, it started in the school chorus when I was a little kid, except that I remember my very first experience. I was so terrified my knees shaked that it had to take me off the stage. But it really started for me like most people in the teen years in high school. I went out for the glee club one day, and I think the teacher discovered, my classmate discovered at the same time I could sing a little bit. And in high school, you know how it is, you gravitate towards people with similar likes like yourself. Some people is athletics, other people is whatever, but for me it was music. So I started getting together with other guys who sang, and we'd sing in the hallway or we'd sing anywhere we got together to do it. And you get enough guys who feel like, hey, maybe we should do this as a group. That's how it started, at the very beginning of that. And the real professional side of it began the day I met J. Otis Washington of the Persuasions, the group that I later joined so many decades later. I was about 14 years old, 14 or 15, and I had a singing group, took it over to his house, his apartment, and we sang, thought we were doing all that. He said, hey, that was nice, guys, but where's the harmony? We looked, we said, huh, what's that? So he taught us harmony. And I learned from him how to do vocal arrangements and things like that. And that sort of set me up for every opportunity that came hence. Whatever I did, it came from that fundamental knowledge I got from J. Otis Washington.
That is certainly interesting. What a great start. And what exactly was that one precise moment that simply influenced you into what you're doing for the rest of your career?
What was what?
What was that one exact precise moment that was like that simply influenced you into what you're doing for the rest of your career? In other words, that one moment that simply said, this is it.
It's a hard thing to say because it's like, I think it's the same like when you meet the person that you fall in love with and spend a lifetime with. You can't quite remember all the details, but it's like it's always been a part of your life. They've always been a part of your life. For me, it's just a succession of things. Of course, the immediate gratification when you're seeing people applaud, that feels good, but I think it came down to when you have a bad experience, when it didn't go all the way you hoped it would. And I think that's the moment where you have to decide on whether you're going to keep doing this for real and take it seriously, or you're going to walk away and get a job. So I think that happened to me very early in my career. I think I really realized I had a potential when I started just singing in front of a live audience. I love the feeling. I love the feeling of bringing joy to people. You know, that sense of connection when I could look in people's eyes and see just how much they were enjoying the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it became that kind of a calling, I think, where I really enjoyed sharing good feelings with people. So maybe that's it, you know, as close as I can get to defining it.
Mm-hmm. And certainly indeed as well too, connecting to the audience, relating to the audience, and of course you got with the Persuasions and everything. Who are some other favorite artists, singers, songwriters, and musicians growing up?
My all-time favorite would have to be the Four Tops, uh, the Levi Stubbs. Later, I met all these guys, so I fell in love with even more when I met them because they were so genuine people. But as a 14-year-old, you know, you have to, every artist always connects with one artist out there, or should I say anyone coming up in the business when you're young. You latch on to somebody that has a sound that you can identify with, that you feel that you could emulate. So you either play along as a guitar player with whatever guitar player you like, or drummer, you want to drum like them. For me, it was his voice. When I heard Levi sing, it was filled with so much emotion. And the way he felt as if he believed every word he was uttering. I started singing every song that they sang. I listened to every song they sang. I sang the background vocal parts. I just fell in love with the music of the Four Tops. So yeah, I took to them like a baby duck takes to its mama,
Wow.
you know, and printed on the Four Tops. And that's really, you could actually say I had a vocal lessons from the Four Tops just from listening.
Boy, I kind of wish I did that back in the day, and I think that's something I should have done a while ago. So it's something. And of course, you end up, joining the Drifters as well too back in the '80s, and you also collabed with the Barenaked Ladies. We'll talk about your accomplishments with Dave Revels, but first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SonicWeb Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews. And Eve 11 enjoys by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassie, Forge Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com and our 40 podcast platforms. Heard in 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, TuneIn, also Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Threads, and more. Tickets with you on any mobile device. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies. Makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Check it out today and support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We're here with the amazing 40-year singer, songwriter, one-time member of the Drifters of the early 80s, Dave Revels, here on the Mike Wagner Show. Also did some staging shows in Atlantic City, Las Vegas, and more, with a number of 50s and 60s theme as well too. And before we get to your latest releases with Shine On, you're working with a member of Jefferson Airplane and One Man Woman. You collabed with the Barenaked Ladies as well too, and that was one of your amazing accomplishments. Tell us about that.
Well, it started actually. One of the members of Barenaked Ladies, Kevin Hearn, happened to have been Lou Reed's MD for almost 10 years. He toured with Lou Reed.
Mm.
And he became a fan of the Persuasions during that period, I think, because Lou Reed brought the Persuasions to England to tour with him. But Kevin always loved the Persuasions. So I actually met him at the Lou Reed Memorial that was done at the Apollo Theater a number of years ago. Everybody was there. Patti Smith, Paul Simon, Deborah Harry, just name it, man. It's like a Paul Simon, if I didn't say him already, but so many people. But I met Kevin there, and we started to talk, and started as a joke, really. He was wearing his sweater that I like. I said, that's a nice sweater. What size is it? And then we started joking. And he said, you know, I have a project I'm working on. It's a song called Brian Wilson, and I want to do an arrangement of it, and I'd love you guys to do the vocals. So I said, yeah, sure, send it to me. So I recorded it for him and sent it to him, and he loved the demo I did with it, so he kept that. And then he said, hey, look, we're coming to New York to do Central Park, the summer concert series. Maybe you guys come sing a song with us. I said, yeah. I always say yes first and figure things out later. And so he sent us a song. And we learned the song, and we showed up the day of the concert, went to backstage, and we just started, we vibed right away, the whole group. You know, we were singing along songs and what have you. And we performed with them, and the people loved it. It was a great collaboration. We had a nice natural chemistry. So they said, hey, we're doing a project, I think it was the Beverly School in Canada. There's a school for physically impaired. And they asked if we would be a part of it. And he said, guys, since you're coming up anyway, maybe we'll do a few songs. We'll record a few songs together. I said, sure, send me the material. So they sent me 30 songs.
Wow.
And every song they sent me, I love. I love it. Send me more. Let's send me more. So we had 2 months to prepare for the show and a concert and a recording session. So I rehearsed the guys 6 days a week on all their material. I reimagined their background vocals and added nuances to it that I heard from their music. I love the music. I think they're one of the most creatively melodic and rhythmic groups I know out there, and very witty lyrics. Anyway, we rehearsed 15 of the songs to the point where we really felt great about doing them. So when we got up there, they thought, they assumed if we got 3 songs or 4 songs, they were not prepared for how well we were prepared. But I always learned something. When opportunities are not just random chances, when they come to you, it's meant for you. So you must do your work to prepare for that opportunity so you maximize everything. So I always approach work like that. So when I brought the guys in and rehearsed them 6 days a week, my intention was to have all those songs to the point where we didn't need to look at lyric sheets. And we went up there to NOLA Studios in Toronto, and it was live off the floor, man. There was no overdubbing. And they didn't tell us this, but they had this film company called Sessions X that was filming it. So not only was it a recording session, it was a film session. But to our credit and Barenaked Ladies' credit, it was such a creative experience for us that within 5 minutes, the cameras sort of like took 20th place behind us. It wasn't until the end of the session that I realized they were filming it again, because it was all about the music. You know, no egos, no nothing. It was all about the music. So we celebrated their music our way, and they got to enjoy their own songs again, because usually they're singing, not hearing us singing them. So they got a deep appreciation for their own music. So we did 15 songs within less than 48 hours. We recorded those songs, and the rest is history. It charted top 30 in Canada, and it was well received. You know, Barenaked Ladies fans are hard, you know, because they're very critical of the group. I found Canada tend to be that about their artists, but they embrace what we did, you know. And for us, it was just one of those experiences, man. You know, you'll always remember that.
Mm-hmm. And certainly remember as well too. And of course, you know, speaking of tributes, getting together and everything else, you did some 50s and 60s theme music shows yourself, legendary tributes, and especially one of them is Shadows of the 60s. And tell us about that. And if there's some other tributes you'd like to mention, feel free to talk about those as well.
Well, Shadows of the 60s was a labor of love. Um, I started out doing Motown, the only group I love, which is the Four Tops. So I called it Standing in the Shadows of the Four Tops.
Mhm.
Within 6 months, we got a letter from the attorney saying cease and desist. You can't use the name of the group in the title of your show.
Oh,
So because of that, uh, it made it necessary for me to change the show. But I realized also not everybody's enamored of the Four Tops to the extent I was. They wanted to hear the other Motown groups. So I expanded it and seeked out very talented people, sought out talented people who it's not about a lookalike so much as it is about the embodiment of the sound of the group and the spiritual and the essence and the energy of the original. So I seeked out artists who had that love for the music. So it took me 3 years to find my Supremes group because you're trying to find. I'm not lookalike now. It's people who have a spirit. So took me a long time. The Temptation took me another 3 years to really hone it down to what I have because I kept rejecting singers for one reason or another. And the main reason I reject people is not the talent I expect people to have is the given, your talent. But what I look for is people's character and their way they work with others. If they champion other person's creativity, because those groups were successful because they worked well together. Regardless of what happened when they got famous, but when they were coming together, it was all about music. So in creating Shadow of the 60s, I look for people who have that because you can't fool an audience. When you get on that stage, they know whether you're just all there about yourself or whether you're about the music. And it's a memory game. So you have to treat people's memory with respect. So we've been doing that now for going about 13 years now.
wow.
And within 6 months, it became very successful because, like I said, I came up with a lot of those original artists working with the 50s and 60s iconic groups. So I learned what was important. People love this music like they love their family members. You got to treat it with respect
Hmm.
because when you sing a song, don't change it trying to be you. People come in there to hear their memories. They have specific moments in their lives that are attached to specific songs. So that's the labor I'm talking about. So with that in mind, we work diligently with costuming, choreography, staging, hiring the finest musician you can get your hands on. Our music director actually played with the Funk Brothers, member of the Funk Brothers. He
Oh,
was mentored by Holland Dozier Holland, the songwriting team. He was also mentored by uh, uh, Dr. Teddy Harris Jr., who was the musical director for the Supremes, and he worked with the Supremes. And so he's a musical director. Other members of the group, our keyboard player was Harry Belafonte's musical director for years.
how do you like that? I love it. Harold
Uh,
Belafonte is one of my favorites.
yeah, and a bass player that in and out of the show with all the bass players. One, his name is Ivan Bodley. He has played with over 52 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame artists in many capacities, as musical director for them and all that. So down to the musicians, everyone is attached to the legacies that we're portraying. It's not just a bunch of musicians who know how to read notes. It's people who experience being around those kind of artists. So when they get up there, they're channeling those people. So yes, I'm very excited about that because I'm a fan first, Mike. So any music I do is because I'm a fan of how I do it and why I do it. It's never money to me is the given an equation. If you do something well, you will make money. But if you think about the money before you create the vehicle, it's going to break down on you every single time you take it out.
Hmm.
So that's my approach to it. That's Shadow.
Hmm. And certainly true as well too. And I think that's a really good analogy you did too. If you put money first, it's going to break down sooner or later. But of course, you've also been part of the legends as well too. That you're a one-time member of the Drifters in the early '80s, and tell us more about that and how you first got involved.
uh, all opportunities in your life, in my life especially, uh, uh, just specific opportunities in time. And what happened was there was a singer in New York. Her name was Debbie Malone, great singer. She had a conflict in the show, and she couldn't get out of the water. And she asked me would I cover for her in the show. I said sure. So as a thank you, she told me there were 2 auditions in the next week. One was with the road tour for the Wiz as a Tin Man, and the other was an audition for the Drifters. Well, I had a show the night before, so I was really tired. So I passed on the road tour of the Wiz because it was too early a call. But the Drifters rehearsal was like at noon audition. So I made that one. Now, remember, prior to that, I didn't know anything about Drifters music except George Benson's version of They Say the Neon Lights
On Broadway.
So I knew that way, his inflections. So that was a song I auditioned with. And then they put me through the paces for harmony, which I learned from the Persuasions, so I was covered with that knowledge. Then choreography, because I've been doing it for years anyway. And they said, great. They said, great. They said, do you own a tuxedo? I said, yeah. They said, okay, well, listen, well, meet us at 5 o'clock on 125th Street and 2nd Avenue in front of BP gas station. We'll pick you up. We have a show tonight.
Nice.
So the same day I auditioned, I had a show that night with the Drifters. Now, mind you, I learned everything about the Drifters in that same night. So I'm standing in front of an audience that knows the Drifters music, and I'm dancing, I'm singing, trying to remember my parts, and people in my face smiling at me. So it was trial by fire, you know, being thrown in the deepest end of the deepest end. And so that's the start of it all. And thanks to the Drifters, I was exposed to what I call the real University of Rock and Roll. With the Drifters, I toured all over the world, all over the country. We worked 20 to 29 dates a month. I worked with every iconic star in the industry. Little Richard, Bo Diddley, Chubby Checker, Chuck Berry, Gene Chandler, Del Shannon. We did a show with Roy Orbison. Let's go, the Platters, you know, with Tony Williams. Who else? Gosh. Temptations, the Four Tops. Name it, man. You know, and so, but I'm a school of an open pool to knowledge. So I watch these groups every night, man. Tour with Dick Clark. I watch how they produce shows. Watch how they work things. I watch how the tech crew worked. So I looked at everything. It was not just singing for me. It was the entire experience. You know, so that was my greatest tutorial of my life. Everything I've done since came from that experience.
And certainly as well too, and great experience as well too. And of course, you also had the honors of you know having the contemporary national anthem "Stand Up America," and tell us about that one.
Well, that started prior to September 11, 2001. I always spell it out because I don't believe in going 9/11. Because to me, it doesn't pay proper respect to all the people who lost their lives and how it changed people forever. So prior to that, just before that, the country was in a state of unrest that it is now. We had so much division in America. If you look back to that period before that, everybody was at each other's throat for one reason or another. And it disturbed me because I've traveled the world and I see how other countries are. I see how you go to some countries and you can't talk about the political leaders without fear of being killed for it.
Right.
Or if you're voting for another party, you have to fear that the people who support the other party might come and kill you while you sleep because you're not for their candidate. So I know how great America is. So when people were basically, to me, taking it all for granted, I started writing a song about the fact that we were a country of immigrants. America became a great country because of all those people who came here with hopes of bettering their condition. And they looked to America for a chance at a new life. From Ellis Island all the way up. You know, before that, the plains, when people came from Europe and went across the plains and homesteaded, all those things to get a better life. So I felt that we were forgetting the fundamental essence and strength of America. So I started writing a song that talks about, you know, we're one, we're all the same. But it wasn't until September 11th when I saw how we came together all of a sudden. We wanted to listen to each other. All of a sudden, we were seeking each other out again. We cared about how we felt. We talked to everyone. We wanted to hear how people felt. So I
Connecting, right?
wrote the bridge, and the bridge was a missing tie to the song. The bridge says, take a look around you at our gathering strength. Through the growing storm, be the bow that bends. That's Ulysses' bow that doesn't break. And when your neighbor needs you, be quick to lend a hand. Your neighbor could be across the street or next state or next country. Build a bridge wherever needed to join and help people and mend a broken fence. If there are any differences, mend the differences. And the song says, stand up America, for proudly we do hail. Stand up America, join hands and show the world that we uphold these truths as evident. We're all equal on this earth. Stand up America, join hands and show the world. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There are only three colors in America: the red, the white, and blue.
Yes, well said.
So that song was embraced by schools across the country from kindergarten up. And you know, schools don't bring anything into the system because they know whatever they bring in will influence children's lives. So educators and principals and teachers thought the song spoke to what America was. You know, we're a land of many people. You know, so the song was about that. And it's not about racial tolerance or cultural tolerance. I hate the word tolerance because it doesn't mean I respect you. It means I have to put up with you.
Right, exactly. I was just going to say they hear too much tolerance, tolerance,
Yeah.
tolerance, tolerance.
I
I
hate the
think you
word
nailed it
tolerance.
right there.
So I don't use, I say understanding. You know, so that's the song. So the song became very popular for that. And I did many events at State Stadium and then Citi Field with the Fort Hamilton Garrison. I produced a show with the entire garrison on the field. I have a friend who was a four-star general from NATO. His name is Jack Woodall. He came all the way from Pennsylvania in the full regalia to recite the Pledge of Allegiance before the game. And school children unfurled the Ground Zero flag with veterans of war from World War II, Korean War, and Middle East War. They all unfurled the flag in honor of the veterans and their families. So again, when you have art is the great unifier. And if you've been blessed to be able to deliver a message in a positive way, you have to do that. It's not all about making money, you know.
Mm-hmm. And that's a really good understanding as well too. You also have a few songs. You got a chart "Shine On," "Birds and Sleeping Dogs" with a well-known member in the rock industry, "One Man Woman," more with Dave Revels. We'll get to those in just 1 minute. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SoundWeb Studios, and brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international Wolverine author Mia Molson's They're Missing. We'll be back with you, multi-talented 40-year singer, songwriter, and one-time member of the Drifters of the '80s, Dave Revels. After this time. We're back to the amazing, multi-talented Dave Revels here on the Mike Wagner Show. We talked about how you got into the Drifters. You worked with the Barenaked Ladies, the Persuasions, and you also have your own music. You got "Shine On," you've got "One Man Woman," and "Birds and Sleeping Dogs" with a prominent member. And tell us more about that.
Birds and Sleeping Dogs. A few years ago, there's a gentleman, you know, Jorma Kaukonen from Jefferson Airplane and Hot Tuna, Jack Cassidy. He has a music retreat in Pomeroy, Ohio called Fur Peace Ranch, where really outstanding musicians work with average people who love music and want to improve their musicianship. And they come and they learn and they play music and they're taught, you know, to improve their artistry. And I did that several years as an instructor, vocal instructor. And at lunchtime, you know, it's not uncommon that Jorma would whip out his guitar and start playing. You know, just around the lunch table, no show, just hanging. And he said, "Dave, I want to introduce you to a song." And he wrote a song for his wife called "In My Dreams." I love the song, man. It was such a great song about loving the person you're with for years, you know. And I said, "Jorma, we got to record together." He said, "Yeah, that'll be nice." But then after listening to his playing and singing with him, another thought came to mind. I got to write a song with this man. So whenever I listen to musicians I take to, I really listen to their style of how they play and approach the music. So when I'm writing it, it's almost like I hear them accompany me. So the song "Birds and Sleeping Dogs," it's basically it's a song about uh, arriving at being yourself,
Hmm.
you know, not in an arrogant way, but being comfortable in your own skin to the point where you don't do anything you don't want to do.
Right.
You're only with people you wish to be with. One of the lines in the song says, it feels real good when someone asks me where I'm going, that I can point to all four corners and still get to where I'm going. And I don't care
Nice.
how long it takes, or if the sun goes down before I reach. I know my choir will be waiting when I arrive to hear me preach. So years went by, about 3 years, and we just didn't, and then COVID happened. And then at the tail end of COVID, I got a phone call from the owner. Says, Dave, I promised to do a song with you. It's time. So he drove up to New York with his wife and his daughter, Izzy, Vanessa, and Izzy, his daughter. And we went to my friend's studio. It's called the Jam Room in Howell, New Jersey.
Hmm.
Arnie Brown studio, Arnie Brown. And we recorded a song. We did 2 takes.
Wow.
We never talked about a song much at all. We didn't go back and forth in an email like you think you would. I just told him I have the song, and I sent him a little demo of it. I mean, just singing a cappella. And we got together in the room. I told everybody I didn't want anybody else in the room but he and I in the studio room. And we sat down and talked about it. He picked a few notes and said, okay, all right, we'll break there. Okay, all right. All right, we're ready. Hit it. And we did the first take, and we said, okay, now we know where we're going. The second take was it. And people like Jorma and a lot of these artists, they don't dilly-dally in the studio all day. You either get the idea in the first 2 or 3 times, or you're never going to get it. And fortunately, we're both very comfortable with each other, and so it was done that quickly, 2 takes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was filmed. The only other thing in the room was a camera. So that's it.
How you like that? 2 takes. That's rare these days with Birds and Sleeping Dogs. You also have Shine On and One Man Woman, and tell us about those.
But Shine On, I have a Jamaican heritage. I was born in England to a United States Air Force sergeant, and my mother was Jamaican. And my early years were spent in Jamaica. Who I am is a big factor in how I was raised in Jamaica by my aunts and my uncles, who taught me really great, solid, ways to live your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to pay an homage to my history, because my entire musical journey, I pay homage to my music, different songs. So it was produced by a gentleman named Ed Robinson, Jamaican producer, songwriter, and musician. He did a famous reggae version of Bob Dylan's song "Knocking on Heaven's Door."
Nice.
It's knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. He did a reggae version, which became a huge hit for him. It recently had 1 million streams, by the way. So I told him I wanted to pay homage to my history. So he did the arrangement. So I flew down to Florida. I did 2 takes.
Oh my gosh. Well, start calling you 2 Take Dave on that one.
Well, I do my homework. So when I walk into the room, I kind of know where I'm going. And if I hear anything else, I can add it right away. It's not something I go. I always say that a recording session, a rehearsal, is not a place for instruction. It's a place for creativity. You do your homework before you get to the room. So when you get in the room, you're being creative, not being instructed on a part. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my approach.
Mm-hmm. And certainly indeed as well too. Of course, you had One Man Woman, and we'll get to play a couple of the songs at the end of the audio interview on the Mike Wagner Show. And of course, to cap it up, you're also an author as well too, called A New Guide to Mastering the Art of Entertainment. And tell us about that one.
Well, I have mentored a lot of people. Everything I do is based around getting people to be comfortable as who they are as an artist. Comfortable in their own musicianship, comfortable in their physicality of who they are. So when they go in front of an audience, they're not sending mixed messages. When you're nervous on stage, you send all kind of messages to an audience. Not that you're insecure, but maybe not good. So I teach people to be comfortable in their skin. So after teaching so many people and mentoring them, I said, why don't I just write a book that tells them how to do all this? This way I can give it to them as well as talk to them, and they can always refer back to it. So that's how that book came about, is to help people who are struggling with finding their space of comfort.
That is rather interesting. What are some of the other points to bring up the book? It's like, what are some of the do's and don'ts, and some of the other tips as well?
Well, one of the do's is, again, the first fundamental thing is practice your craft. Know your material inside out before you take a stage. Be sure that the material you've chosen is within your musical ability, so that you can express your spirit in the music, regardless of your level of expertise. That at least people hear the sincerity of your delivery. So I teach people that. I also teach them that to respect an audience. You know, whatever is happening backstage, don't bring it to the stage. You know, you don't know why people come to a show. Somebody could be sick and need to forget about their illness for a while. They could be depressed, they need to be cheered up. They could have had a rough day, or they're not sure, just need to be cheered up. And they decide to come see you. And so you have the responsibility not to be selfish, but to embrace the fact that they didn't have to come see you. So I teach people most of the spiritual side of the musicianship. You know, I call it Zen teaching of music. You know, the mechanics of music is something you have to learn. But how to be a true deliverer of an experience to an audience, that's something that many people, believe it or not, are not aware of how to do. So I try to teach those things.
That is certainly interesting. I'm already feeling comfortable around you. I got to say that. So,
likewise, Mike.
There you go. And I think I'm ready to put on the drifters right now as we speak here. And speaking of music and everything, where can we find all your music at and all your works at, Dave?
You can go to YouTube and just put my name in. I'm all over the place on YouTube. Dave Revels, R-E-V, like Victor, E-L-S. I'm on Facebook. You can look me up. Come on, friend me. You know, follow me. Tell me ask me any questions you want to ask me. That's the easiest way to find me. I have a website, which is daverevels.com, and you can go there as well. I'm not a real fancy guy, so it's still a work in progress. But as far as keeping up to date with me, you can also go to shadowsofthe60s.com. That's the website for our Motown show, and you can track where we're going to perform all over the country. And even, of course, that I do one of my original songs in that show as well. You know, so check me out. Let's be friends.
We'll certainly do that as well, too. And make sure you check out Dave Revels as well. Once again, with the 40-year singer, songwriter, one-time member of the Drifters of the 80s, Dave Revels on the Mike Wagner Show. We'll be playing a couple of his songs at the end of the audio interview, especially Birds and Sleeping Dogs. And just a few more things, Dave. What else can we expect from you in 2023 and beyond?
More focus on my touring of my original work. I'm charting, 3 of my songs are charting on a chart called Beach Music 45. There's a whole community all across the lower states, going all the way through to Kentucky, called Beach Music 45, where they shack dance. You know that, right? Shack dance, a swing dance. And they swing dance a lot of classic 50s and 60s and some country songs. And they charted 3 of my songs. And
nice.
One Man Woman is charted, another song called Anytime You're Close to Me, and a song called In the Backseat with the Radio On. That's my country rock song.
In the backseat with the radio on. That's a flashback right there.
Oh, yeah. So that song is charting well. So it's been a great run there. So check it out.
We'll certainly do
Beach Music 45.
We'll certainly do that with the backseat and the radio on. That's the most important thing, Dave. So
the backseat girl with the radio on.
Oh, yeah. Let's get down to it. And also, who do you consider biggest influence in your career in general?
Biggest influence in my career. It would have to be, I go back to George Washington from the Persuasions, because without him taking the time to teach me the fundamentals of vocalization, nothing I have would be. I wouldn't be able to walk confident into an audition for the Drifters and get the job. I wouldn't have been able to work with Barenaked Ladies, a well-established group, and take their music to a different level if I didn't have that knowledge in me. So yes, J. Otis Washington, the last surviving member of the Persuasions, by the way.
How do you like that? That is very interesting. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Best advice I can give anyone, be true to yourself and never, ever forget to tell the people who care about you how much you appreciate them. Because you don't achieve anything by yourself. You know, nothing in life you gain is solely by yourself. Someone had to facilitate it. So respect that, and also respect people's time.
Yes.
Because every moment someone spends with you is time taken from their life that they can never get back. So show up on time for your appointments, you know, and vice versa. Recognize when people don't respect your time. That's the best advice I can give.
And very important as well. Very timely too, by the way. So we had that. So once again, we're with the amazing 40-year singer-songwriter, one-time member of the Drifters, also with Shine On, Birds and Sleeping Dogs, One Man Woman, Dave Revels here on the Mike Wagner Show. Dave, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Learned a lot from you. Looking forward to having you again soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. Once again, what's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your works?
DaveRevels.com. If you want to get a hold of me, I'm also on Spotify and all the live streaming platforms. You can punch me up on Spotify, Amazon, everything, Apple Music. I'm all over the place. So just punch in my name and it'll come up.
We'll certainly do that. Once again, Dave, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love having you back. Wish you all the best. And Dave, you definitely have a great future ahead of you.
Mike, thank you so much for your time, and I truly appreciate you. God bless to everyone that visits you and listens to you, man. I think you're someone that's worth listening to.